James Stewart never won a prize for being a husband. No golden trophy, no standing ovation, no Hollywood premiere. But those who knew him best would tell you that the role he treasured most had nothing to do with any movie set. To the world, he was one of the greatest actors who ever lived. The voice, the sincerity, the quiet dignity that made films like It's a Wonderful Life, Rear Window, and Vertigo timeless. He earned an Academy Award, flew combat missions in World War II, and became a genuine American icon. Yet when conversations turned to the things that mattered most to him, he kept coming back to one name: Gloria. When Stewart met Gloria McClain in 1948, he was approaching 40, and already a household name. She was something entirely different from the world he lived in, elegant, grounded, and completely unimpressed by Hollywood. She was raising 2 young sons from a previous marriage, and she treated James not as a star to be admired, but simply as a person. He later admitted she was the first person around whom he felt no need to perform. They married in August 1949, and James stepped into fatherhood without hesitation, embracing her sons Michael and Ronald as his own. 2 years later, twin daughters Judy and Kelly arrived. While his career was reaching extraordinary heights, collaborating with Alfred Hitchcock, delivering some of cinema's most celebrated performances, the center of gravity in his life remained home. And Gloria protected that home fiercely. She accompanied him to premieres and ceremonies, but she never chased the spotlight herself. She kept their household grounded in something real: family dinners, ordinary evenings, children who were expected to behave like children. Friends who visited remarked on how completely normal everything felt inside those walls. The famous actor disappeared at the front door, and just Jim walked in. For more than 4 decades, that was their rhythm. And then, in the early 1990s, Gloria was diagnosed with cancer. Those who knew Stewart said he immediately reorganized his entire life around one priority: being with her. He stepped back from public life, declined commitments, and spent his time simply present with the woman who had quietly anchored him for half his life. She passed away in February 1994. The change in Stewart was visible almost immediately. Old friends noticed it. The warmth was still there, the graciousness, the kindness. But something behind his eyes had shifted. A longtime friend reportedly said that James had never feared growing old. What he feared was growing old without Gloria. For 45 years, she had been the first person he wanted to speak with in the morning, and the last voice he wanted to hear at night. That kind of absence doesn't fill easily. He lived 3 more years, receiving honors, watching new generations discover his films every Christmas. But those closest to him sensed that a chapter had permanently closed. He never pursued another romance. He never tried to replace what they had built together. He simply carried her with him, speaking of her not in the past tense, but as someone whose influence never left. James Stewart passed away on July 2, 1997, at the age of 89. Hollywood mourned a legend, but perhaps the truer legacy was this: in an industry that devoured marriages for sport, he and Gloria quietly built one that lasted 45 years, not through grand gestures, but through loyalty, friendship, and the daily choice to show up for each other. Awards gather dust, fame eventually fades, but the life those two built together, that's the kind of story that endures. If this moved you, give it a like and subscribe. There are plenty more stories like this one worth telling.